I want to rename it to Barbara Rose Johns.
When Barbara Rose Johns made history, she was just a year older than Kayla Longmire, who's a rising sophomore at J.E.B. Stuart High School.
When she was 17 years old, she led a walkout to protest segregated schools.
It was 1951 in Prince Edward County, Virginia. Barbara Johns led that walkout to protest the poor and inferior conditions at her all-black school.
And this walkout ended up where she was part of a lawsuit that was one of the main lawsuits that ended up culminating into Brown v. Board.
Of all the suits, it was the first one that was led by a student.
Kayla's father, Ken Longmire, explains just how important her protest was in the fight for integration and civil rights.
Took it to the NAACP, and they put their heads together and said, why don't we just sue for integrated schools? And that was the first of the 5 such suits that you hear all about. Remember, this happened before Rosa Parks in the back of the bus in Montgomery. And after this happened, it sort of lit a spark.
By naming the school after her, we're honoring her and saying, holding her up like, this is a piece of history that is inspirational and, important and should be remembered.
Most likely there will be other recommendations besides Barbara Rose Johns. So here's the timeline. On Saturday, September 9th, there is a community meeting to gather names for consideration. Then, the following Saturday, September 16th, from 10 to 5 p.m., the community votes. Voting is limited to people who reside in the J.E.B. Stuart attendance area. Then the division superintendent gives a recommendation of 1 or more choices to the school board. 3 weeks from that time, the school board will vote. Now, if all goes as planned, we could know a new name for J.E.B. Stuart High School in October. In Falls Church, Peggy Fox, WUSA 9. Let's see.